we are in the ancestral hovel. Neither night nor day, neither afternoon nor morning, nor lunchtime nor tea time.
Yes, exactly.
It is forever some other time of day.
Cigar time.
It's always cigar o'clock.
Cigar. Yeah, here we are. And what do we have today on the ashtray?
Well, you have selected.
Have I? Yes, I have.
Tell me about this. I mean, it's a Montecristo.
The Supremos.
Robusto Supremos.
No, I believe it's just the Supremos.
But is it the same size as the Robusto Supremos?
This is the confusion behind it.
It's 1 ring gauge point smaller, right?
It's a few. It's 3 ring gauge points smaller. It's the same size, for those of you who are familiar with it, as the Romeo and Julieta wide Churchill.
A fine cigar.
A fine cigar. And it's a Montesco size. The Vitolo de Galera, the factory name is Montesco. So 55 by 130 millimeters if we want to switch it up a little bit.
Switch it up. You're so
modern. I'm so the hip to the hop, you know.
What does that mean to switch it up?
Switch it up. Change the game. It means change the game.
Ah, take it to the next level, I believe.
Yeah.
They used to say in the 1990s. But I mean, these were, I mean, the brand when I was starting out with cigars was the sort of almost the axiomatic thing of whenever one thought of a cigar, one thought of a Montecristo.
Yeah.
I mean, the brand started in 1935, I believe.
1935.
The product of the first...
Good year. That was a good year.
Maybe, obviously, for this one.
Use the firebox. But may I interrupt quickly? We didn't mention, but you can probably tell that this is a limited edition. It's the 2019. Maybe we did mention it and I got distracted.
No, I don't think you did.
But as we know,
it's available, unfortunately, in the shop.
This is available. This is available. I know it's not right, really.
I mean, especially as this is our last broadcast before the summer recess.
In the parklands of the ancestral hovel.
We have a staycation in the grounds. Yes, it means putting a bell tent in the back garden, and
it's like glamping.
Well, I mean, without the glamour, yes. It's a sort of like a Club Med, except in the noble boulevards and avenues of our native Shepherd's Bush.
Yes.
Anyway,
instead of deer, we have foxes.
We have foxes,
foxes,
and I believe one of them came in and deposited some sort of turd in the kitchen.
Turd. Yes. All right,
I mean, it's quite rural out here, really, isn't it?
It is very good.
You know? I mean, we really do live the life. We should, but I mean, they're charming, these animals, aren't they?
I don't know.
The squirrel,
the squirrel that passes my window every day on the way to work.
And what's that one? Does it eat stuff?
No, I should put some nuts out for it though. It's found a new route, so I'm going to give it some nuts and see what happens.
You think it's like cigars?
We can start him off. Have to be something small, maybe a Joyita, another Montecristo, the Panatella.
Montecristo Joyita. You mentioned nuts, or rather I mentioned nuts, as a sort of totally subtle way back to the flavour of the cigar, because I'm getting that kind of nutty, woody, slightly pencil shaving-y aroma and flavour. What do you think?
The pencil shavings I can get. Used to nibble on those as a child at school, so a very familiar flavour. And but I also noticed that traditional grassiness that one comes across so often inside of Cuban tobacco, and that I liken more to a lighter strength cigar. So I'm surprised.
Yes, it's almost a touch of the Hoyo de Monterrey, isn't it?
A touch, yes.
Although
a splash.
A splash.
Splash.
A drop. No, not more than a drop, but less than an entire deluge, as it were, less than an entire diluvial.
So in between a drop and a deluge, that leaves quite a bit of room for
manoeuvrement. But anyway, it's a very nice cigar.
It's going well, isn't it? We've only had a couple puffs, and it's very nice.
It is. It goes with your coffee.
I don't know if I'm having the Kopi Luwak today or not. I think I might have changed. I know, you see the worry in his eyes. He doesn't want me drinking anything but the Kopi Luwak.
No, I don't drink anything other than, whatever it is, I'm not touching the Kopi Luwak. But I mean, you're welcome. No, I certainly don't. It's been through the intestines of a cat.
But that's how you clean it. You know, apparently it used to be a wild thing, but I don't know if they're doing them like battery chickens now. You know? Quite possible.
You mean they feed them a bunch of...
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I do not believe at all that our friend Difference Coffee does that.
No,
I think that's a thing. Like,
do you think that they do have lots of these cats?
But the same with, you know, what is it? It's not astrakhan, the thing that you... What's the one that that wild llama you'd shave the chest off?
Oh, that's very good indeed, yes.
What is it?
Vicuña.
Vicuña. And people, you know, you can't tame them, so people would catch them and release them. But then some people went around and started shooting them with machine guns, you know, instead, which is very sad.
Well, that's very sad, and they've subsequently been repopulated in the Andes through the works of Laura Piana and Hermenegildo Zenia.
I remember you telling me.
So, so the small quadruped Vicuña is...
The nuttiness has arrived.
The nuttiness has arrived. The nuttiness... But 1935, the foundation, one of the most, when I started, one of the best known Havana cigars, still one of the best known, I think, worldwide, the Montecristo No. 4, a favourite of Gianni Bulgari and Jacques Ellard, the former of the eponymous Bulgari, the latter of Chanel.
And it's the best selling cigar in the UK, the No. 4.
I believe so.
Because it's got that medium to full bodied flavour in an approachable format, doesn't take too long.
And if it's a cigar that if you're not a regular cigar smoker, it's something you know will be dependable.
Yeah, but if not, sometimes a tad strong for me, you know.
I'm not always, I know that it's odd that we're smoking this, but I'm not always, Montecristo is not always the first thing I go to. I remember when the 2000 jars came out, the Millennium jars, there was a Montecristo Robusto, which was very, very exciting.
I've had that. I've smoked one.
It's a nice cigar, isn't it?
Oh, it's delicious, yeah. And very light, but that's because of the age, of course.
Yeah, and I mean, this, you get a bit of youth, I think. That grassiness we discussed earlier could be ascribable to the youth of the cigar as well.
That's possible, actually, yeah.
Lovely wrapper, by the way.
Yeah, very nice. And they come in boxes of 25. In this, I think it's this brilliant yellow box. Well, very, very
anything
yellow.
Brilliant yellow is always a good thing.
Yellow. It's very
Wasn't there a novel, Chrome Yellow?
Quite possibly.
By the man who did Brave New World, Aldous Huxley, I believe. I could be wrong.
Oh, yes. 5 years old was the first time I read that. I've read it 10 times since.
And you read, what was the Bulgakov? You really like the cigar smoking cat.
Mikhail Bulgakov in, what's it, Mastering the Margarita.
Yes, you'd like a margarita. It's a book about cocktail barman.
Yeah, and there's the cat
Mastering the Margarita,
cigar.
I believe it's called, with it. And it's serving margaritas to a cat smoking a cigar.
That's great.
Anyway, 1937, it was Menendez and Garcia who were the sort of great double act of the early half of the 20th century in Cuban cigars. They moved to the Upman factory, which they bought from Mr. Freeman, one of the ancestors of our beloved Gemma Freeman. Who is the owner and chairman or managing director of Hunters E. Francao, as we like to call them in our...
no one calls them that.
Hunters E. Francao.
A rumping and a jumping.
A rumping and a jumping.
Yeah. And continue, where were you before you...
1937, they bought the Upman factory. And they did a deal, I think, with Dunhill for distribution, and this was supposed to be the elite cigar. Now, it's subsequently been overtaken.
Yes, it was only available, price was available
on application.
Yes. So
which I think is pretty amazing for the 1930s, when there was a sort of global recession of the current proportions on.
Yeah.
And in 1971, they released the Montecristo A, which was the sort of... It's like a walking stick, basically.
Yes, it's the
how many inches is it? Like sort of 9 or 10 or, I don't know, 7 feet or something?
It's very long.
It's a very long cigar. 47 ring gauge.
So it's not slender either.
No, do you remember, was it your Alexander's stepfather, John, who said that in the early 70s, there was a man who, and the height of chic was to have one of the new Range Rovers, and then a box of Montecristo A's in the glove compartment.
That's brilliant.
Which meant you had a pretty big glove compartment.
Yeah.
But just imagine that was the apotheosis of chic.
That's
49 years ago. And here we are.
Montecristo A's.
Smoking the, what did you call this?
The Supremos. I didn't call it, well, I didn't name
but
it.
But you did just call it
that.
You didn't name it that.
Yeah. The Supremos. Yeah, it's very pleasant so far, but I definitely noticed the youth in it, I think. But it's good, and it's going to be, you know, it's a popular ring gauge. I don't think the Cubans are yet to exceed 58, which is this cigar's brother, I suppose, the Robusto Supremos, or cousin.
Cousin, I think let's call it a cousin.
Cousin. And yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think they're soon to be releasing the BHK with a 60 ring gauge, or that could just be
this is the great rumor that we keep on spreading, so it
BHK.
might even become true.
Have I spread it? Well, I hope so. I mean, I hope Cuba will listen to us.
Do you think a 60 ring gauge from Havana was a good thing?
You know me, I don't really I don't go much above 38. So.
But you don't mind this one, do you?
Oh yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I like the gold band on it. Mm-hmm. No, it's a great flavour. I'm enjoying it, but for me, it's too wide. I mean, the wide Churchill is a delicious cigar, but it's just too
the
wide.
The wide Churchill is I mean, honestly, we're discussing Montecristo and we keep reverting to the wide Churchill.
Well, for me, it's just a milder smoke, and you know, but this I assume will
quieten down a bit.
Yeah, and also because of its stronger blend, will have slightly more character than the wide Churchill does. I find that's a bit single dimensional.
You know, it's monotone.
Monotone, yeah.
I still, and now I'm getting that kind of lemon peel, orange peel kind of bitterness.
You always relate that to Montecristo, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I mean, it's sort of fruity in a kind of strange way. Yeah,
it's not fruity like San Cristobal is, or although that's not the fruitiest of cigars, it has a fruit element to it. But you're right, it's got more of the tang of a citrus.
Maybe I'm growing into Montecristo. Maybe I'm coming around to it, but it's...
The ones I still think are kind of the more refined brothers of Montecristo are Vegas Urbana.
You like a Vegas
Urbana? You know how
much
I like a Vegas. They're great. I think they're very good, especially with the age most of them have on them, because no one seems to smoke them.
We never smoked one, did we, for the Foulkes Sons broadcast?
No, actually, so that could be the next one we do.
Well, that could be our return to school.
Yeah. We have some amazing ones at Davidoff from '96.
96?
Just on the shelves for quite a reasonable price, if I remember.
What size?
You've got the Corona, the Familiaris, and the Classicos, which is the Lonsdale, I think. But you know, the only problem that seems to be with these is that the tobacco's lost all of its elasticity, so it's very hard to tell if it'll draw or not before you smoke it.
Is that because I went to see Alejandro Urbina, and he was quite...
Everyone seems to have gone to see him.
Well, he was part of the sort of... He was part of the tourist attraction. One would go and genuflect at the altar of Alejandro Urbina, and he would tell you about how things used to be, you know, back in the 19th century. And the thing was, I mean, he might or might not have been old enough to know about these things, but he was wonderful. He was the great 150-year-old man who would sit and make wise observations in slightly gnomic and cryptic style.
That's great.
And he could try. What's the son called? Hiroshi.
God knows. Good name.
Yeah, good Cuban name, I think. Or is it Hiroshi? I don't know.
And he's carrying on the tradition.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, it's a great
family business.
It's a great, because I mean, I think that human character with cigars is so important, because it is a handmade product, and it is something that there is you're taking essentially, it's an agricultural product to which human skill adds immense value. Yeah. It's like, you know, that bottle of red wine you had, for example, that Mouton Rothschild.
I believe it was that, or maybe it was that we were looking at and we decided to put
on something. No, we had the Mouton Rothschild, I think.
The one that you managed to...
The one that I failed to open correctly.
Yeah.
You see, it's been quite a good... our broadcasts have already encompassed some great high points and super moments.
Yeah, super moments. Yeah, great.
That was a super moment.
Hyper moments.
That was indeed.
But you were talking about kind of the craftsmanship that goes into making these things. I think there's also something that goes into selling them and being a gentleman while you do so. And, you know, that's why Edward Sahakian, or part of the reason at least, he's such a successful man in the cigar business.
Part of the reason I got into cigar smoking.
He's got his whole history behind it, and it's so interesting to have someone else's opinions and stories on a blend. You know, maybe he'll be smoking this and remember the first Edmundo or the first, Montecristo A he tried. He
the Edmundo was when, 2000 and...
So Montecristo A, let's say Montecristo A instead.
Yeah.
And he'd recount the story. He'd probably be in some lovely restaurant eating beluga caviar and light up a Gran Corona.
Yes.
Montecristo A casually, and then maybe chop it in half like he does now with his Lanceros and the La Reina, which he does.
Yes, he does his own homemade sort of vitolas.
He's the only person that's really allowed to do that. I've tried and failed.
How many cigars are there in this vitola?
Just the
White Churchill.
I think so, yes. The one I often mistake the White Churchill with is the Duke size of the Portuguese E number 2. But that's a 54, slightly smaller and a bit longer. They kind of look similar from a...
This is what, 50,
from a distance.
53 or 55? 55.
55. So pretty hefty.
Yeah, it is, but it's smoking very well. I've got a kind of pleasant sort of bitterness. Is a Negroni a bitter drink?
Yeah.
Well, that's a very fashionable drink, the Negroni, isn't it?
So this might be a very fashionable
So I think this
cigar.
might be a good... I mean, I haven't drunk alcohol... Probably, I mean, I certainly miss pretty much every revival of everything. But
well, I'm pretty sure Negronis still taste the same as they.
What are they? Just strong and bitter? Is that like an Aperol spritz?
Surely you could be drinking the alcohol put into that from when you were drinking, and it would still taste the same as.
Well, I imagine so, because it's a classic drink. It probably dates back as far as this cigar, doesn't it, or something? I mean, are you aware of the history of the Negroni? I'm putting on the spot here a bit.
Freddie may be my brother. He's a big Negroni fan.
Is he?
He's on the Negroni fan page. Follows it on Instagram.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Really?
Of course.
God, how amazing! What you're really?
I think that
what a world we live in. Negroni fan page.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a giveaway every month of
a Negroni.
A couple hundred bottles
of Negroni.
Yeah, pre-mixed Negroni. Yeah.
Pre-mixed Negroni.
Cans of it.
In a little bucket will be
tins with ice, and drink it on a park bench.
Oh, you're really selling it to me. I thought it was all about sort of ciao bella and then pulling up your Vespa while enjoying a Negroni in Florence before sort of painting a masterpiece of the Renaissance and hanging it in the Uffizi and.
But no, it's sitting on a park bench and drinking it from a can.
Yes. I wonder if
should I ash this or not? I think
might as well, but it's very attractive.
It does look good, doesn't it? It is. It's a good cigar. It's a good construction as well. I mean, I think we have 4, 2 of which we are smoking, and the other 2 were of a good construction as well. I just thought these were.
It's very well filled. It's not overfilled, not underfilled. It's proper. There's no air. There's no great sort of canoeing of air.
Or whatever. I get confused with all these terms.
But there is none of that, and you've just got a beautiful cigar, great color, very very pleasant, not overpoweringly strong.
No, but
with something to it.
Might get to that point though. I mean, we're not even halfway through yet, and maybe yet to reach the peak of the Ligero or whatever the hell is in here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'll be tobacco for sure.
Yeah, love a bit of tobacco.
Anyway, should we wait and come back in a minute?
We'll do that traditional wait and come back and see what happens. Usually nothing, but
nothing. But just in case it does, we'll be back in a minute, viewer.
Welcome back. I am smoking my cigar, and the ash is still in position, as if it were held up with a little toothpick or something on the inside, planted there strategically by the Cuban rollers.
But actually, I think it's been very well rolled, this cigar.
I would say so.
Exquisitely made. Montecristo's never really done it for me as my sort of favourite go-to cigar, and I think that this probably won't change my opinion, but it will delight the lover of the Montecristo, I think, because it has all the qualities that one associates with Montecristo, but with that extra bit of finesse. I mean, we both notice, I think...
the finesse, but that might just be the gold band.
The gold band, but it is as much about visual suggestion as it is about flavour. I mean, you look at a cigar and it is a sort of finished object about which you have an opinion. You know? So
that's why the wrapper plays such a role in it, even though you don't get any extra flavour unless it's a really dark Maduro.
3% flavour or something like that.
Yes, but I mean, you wouldn't want to look at a kind of sandy, rough
or
looking cigar,
nothing
like that.
No, I mean, I think that compared to some of the earlier Edition Limitada, this is, with a dark wrapper, a very, very refined cigar.
Yeah.
I think it becomes more powerful, but it becomes also more identifiably Montecristo, or remains identifiably Montecristo.
And I was saying that I felt it was slightly smoother, but then I thought that might be because my palate had desensitized as we passed all the kind of more rough and ready flavors, the rumping and the jumping. But then again, that just could be the development of tobacco, in you know.
I think
calmed down.
I just think it is. It's become very harmonious.
Yes.
So the verdict is, if you like Montecristo, you're going to love this. So go and see Max and buy a box.
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
And after the summer recess, depending if we're not too busy relaxing before Christmas, we should. Do you think should we make some more of these?
Yeah. No.
And the viewer is very kind to us.
Viewer is very kind.
Thank you, viewer.
Thank you. That's very kind for watching 4,000 or 5,000 times per video. We do appreciate
Yes, I'm so grateful to you for that. It's so. I wonder how you do. I mean, you must have just the perfect life. Just what should I do? Oh, I'll see that excellent film again to just soak up more aspects of the cultural and subtle nuances that I might have missed in the 3,998th view.
Yes, you really helped us out there. You've helped us get into Meyerowitz. You've helped us get into Mark's Club. You've helped us get into Richard Mille.
We might even be doing Bulgari with the lovely Joyce Wang.
Helped us get into Davidoff, of course.
Oh, Davidoff.
And back into our ancestral hover after we were locked out one time. So that's very kind.
Locked out, locked down, locked in, locked up. Thank you very much for sticking with us, viewer. And we'll see you again once the leaves begin to fall from the trees.
Muchas gracias.